It's the future. It's the future. There ain't no future unless we build it now. It's the future. It's the future. It's the future. There ain't no future unless we build it now. United States, Africa, we salute ya. A new state of mind, I introduce ya. Close your eyes and visualize the rise of a new paradigm. Solar powered skyscrapers.
Welcome to the Africa Must Unite podcast, a podcast dedicated to inspiring African people worldwide to rise up, organize, and struggle for Pan-Africanism, a unified, liberated, socialist Africa, the only permanent solution to the exploitation and oppression of African people, no matter where they happen to be born or happen to live in the world. Now please, welcome the hosts of Africa Must Unite.
Africa's future is now, so get ready. Revolutionary greetings once again, people out there. I am Brother Terrence from the Pan-African Revolutionary Socialist Party.
Yes. Good morning, Brother Melvin, PRSP.
And we'd like to welcome you once again to Africa Must Unite. This is podcast number 20. And the theme for this podcast is Our Strategy is Organization. So we're going to be talking about organization and the necessity of organizing this podcast. Like we always do at this time, we want to start off by talking about some important events that happened in the month of August. So we want to start off on August 3rd. Edward Blyden, Pan-African giant, was born 1832, August 3rd. August 7th, we cannot forget Jonathan Jackson, just 17 years old, an African who stunned the U.S. court by attempting to free his Soledad brother, George Jackson, in 1970. August 9th, International Day of Solidarity with Women of South Africa and Namibia. On August 10th, we have Josina Michel, who was a guerrilla organizer of Mozambique, Frelimo's Women's Wing. She was born 1945, August 10th. On August 13th, President of Cuba, Fidel Castro, was born 1926. August 17th, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, founder of the UNIA, was also born 1887 on August 17th. Moving along, August 20th. This marks 400 years right here. So Africans were brought to Jamestown, beginning U.S. slavery in 1619. August 21st, the first major African liberation struggle began in Santo Domingo, Haiti in 1791. Also on August 21st, we had the brother Nat Turner, who led the largest slave revolt in Southampton, Virginia in 1831. And also on August 21st, we just talked about him earlier, Soledad brother George Jackson was murdered by U.S. fascist prison guards in 1971. On August 27th, W.E.B. Du Bois, another Pan-African giant, died in Accra, Ghana in 1963. On August 29th, we can't forget the travesty that took place in 2005, which was Hurricane Katrina, and it revealed to the world the level of exploitation and oppression experienced by the masses of African people in the U.S. And finally, on August 31st, which is today, Fannie Lou Hamer demands the rights to register to vote in Indianola, Mississippi in 1962.
Indianola, Mississippi, that's where I was born. People don't know that, home of B.B. King. Going into our strategy as organization, the thing to do is to get organized, keep separated, and you will be exploited. You will be robbed. You will be killed. Get organized, and you will compel the world to respect you. That's Marcus Garvey. Here's another quote. It is absolutely imperative that the exploited and oppressed masses of Africans throughout the world get organized to coordinate and unify our common struggle for liberation. Hence, it is necessary to build Pan-African revolutionary socialist organizations throughout the African world. Organization is key. It is the only way in which we achieve our objective, Pan-Africanism, a liberated, unified, socialist Africa. Sticks in the bundle are unbreakable. That's an African proverb.
All right. So, once again, as a Pan-African organization, and all Pan-African organizations out there realize the necessity of organization. So what we want to discuss today is this 10 points. We have a 10-point system handout here for the reasons of revolutionary organization. So I'll just start off with point 1 here. It is called example setters. People like Garvey, that's Amy Jock, Amy Ashwood, as well as Marcus Garvey, King, Nkrumah, Touré, Tubman, and a host of others. All of these great African people here who we seek to honor and emulate are associated with some organization or organizational activity. Malcolm is one of the best examples. As soon as he gets conscious, he is never outside of organization, which includes the Nation of Islam, to the Muslim Mosque Incorporated, to later the Organization of Afro-American Unity.
Yeah, big point, because history teaches us that there's never been a serious movement that has instigated change outside of an organization, and more importantly, outside, the role of the youth. So if we can combine those, we understand that we need to work in the effort to organize youth and hopefully bring them into Pan-African revolutionary organizations. But a second point is we must examine the enemy. Mao says we should support what the enemy opposes and oppose what the enemy supports. This relative truth can easily be applied to the enemy's relentless effort to keep our people unorganized. Thus, this should stress for us the importance of organization. Our enemy knows how important this is. This is why our enemy puts so much energy and resources in keeping us this way, i.e. unorganized. Furthermore, our enemy is thoroughly organized. He has the FBI, the CIA, the police department, mass media, educational institutions, in his efforts to continue to exploit us. Consequently, we must out-organize our enemy in order to be free.
You swear Mao Zedong wrote that today. That was something he said today, as deep and as on point that truth is. We must begin to out-organize our enemy, because the enemy is thoroughly organized through their organizations, the social media outlets, the mass media outlets, television, print. So we must get ourselves
So
together.
when you think about the role of mass media, and you think about even social media for that matter, and we consider this latest crave going on around chicken sandwiches, man, which has been amazing to me. I mean, we don't like to judge people, but if we think about the amount of time and resources that was put into making these private companies even richer off of our energy and off of our fervor, and that's energy that could have went into organizing in our own community. How many community centers could we have opened if the money that was going into those chicken sandwiches would have went into developing critical organizations in our community? And that just goes to show you, how clever they are with their marketing, how clever they are with using tools of mass distraction to really rock us to sleep, and putting it in street terms.
Mm-hmm. I can't actually quote the Malcolm's quote, but what he said about mass media, if we're not careful, mass media will have you hating the ones you love and loving the ones who are really out there oppressing you. We have number 3 here. Unity presupposes organization. So you have to have unity along with organization. It takes organizational activity to unite the people, understanding that the only real unity is ideological unity. Everyone agrees that we must unite, so let's then organize to do it. Only revolutionary organization can properly educate the people to make them ideologically aware. So again, our ideological philosophy here is Nkrumahism. So when we talk about Nkrumahism, that is our ideological philosophy that our ideology that guides our revolutionary activity.
Right. Number 4, leaders. Organizations can create leaders which come from the people. Secondly, organizations are more difficult for the enemy to destroy. It just takes a bullet to kill a leader. Thirdly, a leader can be revolutionary today and reactionary tomorrow. It is more difficult for an organization to switch like this because of the political awareness of the rank and file who have internalized the organization's principles, goals, etc. So that's when you look at our own organizations where there is no one specific leader in the organization, but we do have circles, and each circle work in the effort to support the next circle, right? So there is no one to pinpoint, and if something was to happen to one of the members, then like we say, we bury the man and continue with the plan.
John Henry Clark there. All right, we're moving on here. No entity can better express the collective anger, will, and aspirations, goals, and etc. of the people and have any significant degree of impact on social life than organization guided, of course, by revolutionary theory. Individuals, no matter how genuine their interests and intentions are, can come nowhere close to matching this. So, again, people, it's fine to be that one individual who's rallying against police brutality, rallying against healthcare, but you have to have that organized. You have to have some theory, action. What is Nkrumah's quote there? Action without theory is blind. Theory without action is empty.
Right. And I think also when we think about how certain events will happen that'll occur, that'll get people riled up, that'll create this energy and this fervor in the community, and then all of a sudden that energy is dissipated after a week or two, like after something happens. And then so you find yourself chasing or following these events as opposed to being proactive in your organization and understanding all of the elements that tie this whole theory of oppression together. When you understand capitalism and U.S. imperialism and how that's our primary enemy, then you understand that you are fighting against that and all the tentacles of capitalism, all the isms that comes along with capitalism, the racism, sexism, classisms, all the isms that seeks to divide us and bring us this energy. And so being in an organization helps us to understand that critically, because when you're in an organization, hopefully you're engaged in some type of political education. And that political education, will guide the actions of the organization. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to be out protesting the shooting and killings, because we already understand the role of the police, right? We understand what a police state is. Mm-hmm. So we're working on the opposite, on the front end of destroying systems and bringing people into a consciousness that would have them to address these oppressive tentacles in a way that is conducive for all people.
Mm-hmm. The next killing is going to come, so just being prepared to react. Yes.
So we're at number 6. To organize in order to realize permanent ideas. Humanism is far better and more scientific than to mobilize in order to resolve temporary issues, as we was just saying. Police brutality, we see that regularly in the U.S. and throughout the world. Capitalism, our enemy, encourages and even engenders the latter development. So I don't know if you saw this video of the young man being choked out by the police officer.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the next issue that we see on these social media platforms. And in the same breath, you see the European who had just killed, I think he was like 19 years old or something. He had just killed 3 people, and he's running around naked. And if you were
attacking the police.
Yeah, he attacked the police.
Choking out the other guy who was there.
He was choking out, and this guy, he goes unscathed. They arrest him without incident.
With about 100 cops there.
100 cops. No one pulled out a firearm. No one warned this murderer to stop, to freeze. But whereas you have this young African who may have had some drug on him, and we see how that's being decriminalized anyway, but he almost received a death penalty for that. You see the young man kicking, trying to breathe, and here's this European police officer with this chokehold on him, not letting go. 3-4 officers are around him, and what did he do to deserve that? He had something that's being some drug on him that's being decriminalized as we speak throughout the country, and he almost received the death penalty. So it's incidents like that, right? It's incidents like that will engender us to go out and mobilize around this one specific issue. But what we're saying is, if you have a organization that is committed to revolutionary action and hopefully a Pan-African structure around that, then we're not looking at just one incident. Now, we definitely have our points and opinions and positions around that, but it goes beyond that as well, right? How do we work to destroy a system so that none of this is occurring is what we're trying to promote through Pan-African Revolutionary Organization.
Yes. Number 7. It is better to leave the people before one dies. Something permanent and tangible. A revolutionary organization completely dedicated to the destruction of our enemy and the permanent liberation of our people. Than something intangible and temporary. The tradition of struggling for every issue that our enemy produces in order to absorb our time and energy. And that's kind of what we were just talking about. We rally against every issue as opposed to attacking the origin of the issues, which is capitalism.
Yeah, big one. And kind of going along with that is burnout. It's better for those who will burn themselves out due to their unclarity to do so in activity geared towards something that will outlast them, for instance, an organization, rather than organizing for something temporary.
Yes, every individuals will burn themselves out rallying against every issue. And we, again, not trying to say you don't attack, go at the issues, confront them, and things of that nature, or even go for reform, but we looking at it through a revolutionary perspective, and we understand who the enemy is and and what's the objective, and we look at it and attack from that angle.
And also going back to the point of long-term permanent solutions being the key piece, right? So if we address the issue of capitalism, we destroy that. So we're looking at the disease as well as the symptoms, but we're not attacking just the symptoms. And I think if you go into a physician, you go to any good doctor, of course they're going to treat the symptoms, but at some point they're looking at trying to find a cure for the disease so the symptoms don't appear anymore. For us, the disease is capitalism. The disease is imperialism, right? And so we understand that the proper antidote for that is Pan-African Revolutionary Organization. That's what it requires to get rid of this disease, to get rid of what is the scourge of the world, the scourge of the planet that we see today, this disparity in the haves and the have-nots throughout the world. I mean, it's amazing. So again, we approaching the disease as well as looking at the symptoms, but we need a cure for this disease.
Yes. Number 9 here. Let's meet organizations guard against spontaneity because they are able to analyze, assess, and plan. So again, if you organize and it's a group of you, the whole adage, one head is better, 2 heads is better than one. People in organization can assess what they need to do, take the necessary steps, have the tactics and strategy in place. So organizations guard against that just energy to jump out and go attack or things of that nature.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least is education. Only an organization can properly educate the people, which is so desperately needed. As Malcolm said, the schools and universities of the capitalist society are skillfully designed to miseducate our people. 100%. So we have to figure out, a way to outsmart, to bring our people into organizations where we can give them the political education, which are the tools that are going to be that's going to be necessary for us to destroy this system.
And again, you mentioned it earlier. You have to have those political education circles. Again, that theory piece is crucial. It's key to guiding the action, and action guiding theory as well. So definitely organization. So of those 10 points right there that, we definitely wanted to mention about the necessity of revolutionary organization. But we also want to say in the subsequent months, at times, with the help of invited revolutionary guests, we will discuss additional key elements of Pan-Africanism that are embraced by the Pan-African Revolutionary Socialist Party and other revolutionary organizations.
That's right. So join us next month when we'll discuss tactics. Meanwhile, leave your comments on our website, prsponline.org. That's prsponline.org. Like us on SoundCloud.com. Visit us on YouTube and like us on Facebook.
All right. Remember, and we just talked about it, organization is key. Join us, that's PRSP, Revolutionary Socialist Party, or some other Pan-African Revolutionary Socialist organization. A union of African socialist states is on the horizon.
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Oh, power to the people. Power to the people. 90% of the brain unused. 85%ers want the truth. 5% of knowledge from the gods and earth. 100% knowledge of self, rebirth of a nation. From suffocation, the new generation don't know when judgment day is coming. You can hear Amadeus playing something, but it sounds like the drummer drumming. My mom always said, the devil doesn't know what you saying when you humming. We coming. Power to the people.
Who could spark the uprising? Unite and shift the whole paradigm, despite who the tyrant of the
Power
time
to the
is.
people.
The undermined, the undivided. That one of a kind something scientists try synthesizing. But even if they find a way to mechanize it, we gon' still recognize the real by the
Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. Yeah, power to the people. Yeah, the meeting of divine minds. The people liberate the North Dakota pipeline. Way deeper than your Twitter feed or timeline. The Lord will hit you in the heart like a drive-by. Yeah, the power just to alter thought. So free me and bring some justice out to Walter Scott. I call the freedom fighters, never will I call a cop. And fuck the president, cause we the one who call the shots.
I hop about that regal, looking regal up. Chopper desert eagle, fight for free, but ain't no equal for us. Mind extension, my conventions like Geneva's horrors. Pour some liquor for my people, leave some Seagrams for us. Power to the people, power to the folk, and power when you vote. And if that power showers, leave us soaked. Running with my blood and load my blood and soul. Give us free or give us heat and make them cowards
To
go.
the people.
We are the power to the people. All we wanted was to be
Power to
equal.
the people.
But when you shoot a little boy in the back because he's black, you just a coward to the people.
To the people.
We planting flowers, let the seeds grow. Spread love, let it shower all we
Power
need.
to the people.
Don't nobody deserve all of the power. So when I get it, watch how I'm gonna give it to the
Power to
people.
the people.
We are the Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King and Marcus
Power to
Garvey.
the people.
Malcolm X and Nat Turner, Tommy the Soldier, the Fela and
I wonder
Martin.
how you devour this American pie that I'ma feed you, not the people in power. It's the power and the people patrol our own ghetto. No bother sending police through. They still got a problem acknowledging us as equal. I got some primos that done crawled out Mexico. You can build your wall, bet it fall like Jericho. Imagine powerless. Dollars for the dollarless and gender equality in the ending of poverty. Let's invent a new policy
to crush the idolatry. It's all abomination in a nation full of follow me's. Not one leader, cause the leaders get struck by heaters. Baffled blind shackles on the mind and they claim they freed us. Before I was a fetus, defeat us, lies deceive us, leave us restrained. So the mental pain, it never eases. Leaving diseases in our food, but we can see through evil. I and I stand up for the truth, say it.
Power to the people. 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 Power to the people.